see the vans.
Yes,
So
and
not
two,
a bus.
that's the same thing. This is like a full-on mini bus with all the seating and the storage of like a mini bus, basically. Like I say, I could send you a picture of it if you want to look at it.
Sure do.
So it's a little different than what,
Yeah, I emailed the pictures out before the meeting, if you can get to your email.
yeah, I have.
Yeah, we had left Garden Valley this afternoon, and so yeah, I mean, if you sent it out then, I did not have a look at it. No.
So Superintendent Thompson, were you saying that you and your athletic director were looking these over?
We were, yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. I can see the need for one of these here because I have heard that kids have had struggles getting to some field trips and to other things because of unavailability. And I did reach out to
Unavailability of transportation.
transportation.
They were relying on their parents to get them there.
No.
Our contract with Harlow's.
The Harlow's,
Yeah.
you mean Harlow was having difficulty?
Sometimes they don't have a driver, right?
Yeah, I did talk to one of the Harlow's drivers today too. And he did tell me that Harlow's charges the same amount for a big bus as it would for a little bus as well
Right.
too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you can just say to Harlow's, get us a little bus. They're going to charge the same amount, according to this gentleman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's anecdotal.
Well, I mean, some of them you're going to have to, even after we get this, because if the team is just bigger, but like this could be used for the basketball team. But it surprised me when I found out last year when we went to Cary for football that it was like $900, almost $1,000 for the trip to Cary.
Mm-hmm.
But the basketball team has gone up north, which is the same. I can't remember the name of the town there that you turn on I-95 or Highway 95 makes that turn through that town.
Oh, it's New Meadows.
No, way further up north.
Morgan's?
Even further.
Oh, God.
It starts with a K. Anyway, basketball, I know played them a few years ago, has played out in Cary for basketball. The basketball team could take this, you know, and
Did anybody send one to Morris yet? A picture?
he has it in his email.
Oh, is he pulling it up then?
I don't.
I noticed that it does not have air conditioning, an air conditioning unit on the roof. And there's huge windows.
Yeah, it
And
said dual.
typically, these vehicles have a large AC unit on the roof because it gets
Most of
so.
them are inside. I don't know that it does or doesn't.
Well, I'm just saying the unit, the compressor's on the roof, and there's nothing on the roof here.
They're on the inside on these. Even the compressor, they put them right on the back.
On the back,
inside,
at the
yeah.
very, does it say that?
Yeah.
It says air
Page
conditioning,
3.
dual climate control. You know,
I imagine it does. This bus came from Florida.
Yeah. It's
I was looking it up. Its history
it's
is,
used down in Florida and North
Florida.
Carolina, yeah. So both humid climates.
I have a question.
Yes.
I think it was answered in the last meeting. Do you need a CDL to operate this vehicle?
You don't, not for this one.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I researched that and I talked to the State Department, the guy over transportation there, and he confirmed that for me.
Okay.
Do we have somebody that is willing to drive the bus?
Yes, we've got, several of us, like we already have the van for special education. We use it some, the little minivan. And so like Kyle Johnshaw, our wrestling coach, uses it now for the wrestling team because he's got 3 wrestlers. So yes, we've got teachers and all, Gary, myself.
Any coach that feels
Coaches,
comfortable can drive it.
Yeah, we just run a DMV check on them and certify them with our insurance company as a driver.
Alicia, did you get to see the picture of this?
I was looking now. I haven't pulled it up yet, but I'm still looking for it.
My questions,
Oh, I just found it.
my questions more are regard to, I also looked around. I found some that were around this price range. There's a couple that were less, there's a couple that were more. I honestly thought this one was way less than this. I don't know why I got a different number stuck in my head. So I thought it was a really good deal. Now, I still think it's a good deal. Most of them that I looked at were older than this and still in this price range. Some of them were older and in really, really, really bad condition and were cheaper, had more miles on them. The fact that this only has 40,000 miles on it, that's pretty good. But so my questions, I feel like it's a good deal on the bus. I do agree, not only on this, but I think we should start looking at more school-owned bus options moving on into the future as well. And but you're in charge of the budget. If we get this van, we become reliant on it, and something happens to it. Are we going to be able to? Now, it does have the warranty.
Yeah, we're good for 3 years.
So for the first 3 years,
miles,
should
yeah.
anything go wrong, we're covered. But then after that, will you be able to find it in the budget? Can we take some of that money that we would be paying, $800?
Money we're saving.
Can
yes.
we put some of that into a fund? Can we create an account that we can put a little bit of money away each time this gets used, almost like renting it from ourselves at a much cheaper price? That way we've got, funds.
Speaking to
What's that, more? Yes, Morris?
Speaking to that, I think bus money can only be bus money. I don't think we could take some of that money.
No, that's not what I'm
and
saying.
use it differently.
In the future.
No, I'm saying like in the future. So
budget.
anytime we use our bus, can we take some money from our funds and create our own account for this bus as a maintenance, so that if something were to go wrong, we're not scrambling for money.
Right.
Because
No,
already
we're going to have to have Lydia look into whether we can do that or not, and what funds we can take to do that.
okay.
We're going to have to clear that with Lydia.
Yeah, I think you're talking about from a budgeting standpoint. We start building the budget for the next year and the year after.
Yes.
To set aside some money.
Yes.
As we create our budget. Yeah.
That would be
I'll
something.
get with Lydia and verify that, but a lot of the transportation can be used on anything transportation, whether you pay Harlow's to provide that transportation or whether you do it yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's that would not necessarily a concern, just a thought.
No, it's a great idea.
Moving forward, it's great to have all these things and to be able to use some of these COVID funds for stuff like this, especially because we cannot use them in other capacities. I think it's great to benefit from these things, but this could cost money too. Now, in the grand scheme of things, every trip it takes, it would, once in theory it's paid off. It's paid off. It would be paid off from the beginning, but it would make it, I think it would make itself, it could pay for itself and then some, and then some we should put into, make sure we can keep it in good condition and running
I think
order.
as long as we end up net neutral.
Yeah,
it's fine.
yeah.
Because, if you just take passenger car, what the IRS allows you, it's like 55, 56 cents a mile
56,
right now, right? If you drive the same 1,000 miles, you're basically expending $550.
Yeah.
Right. And it's, by the way, Morris, this thing has dual rear axle on it, like dual tires. So it's a lot
It's a
heavier.
dually.
Yeah. It's like a dually pickup chassis almost.
Is it
Give me a
F-450?
picture.
Yeah.
Is it an
It's a-
F-450?
This is a 350, I thought.
I'll text you a picture right quick, like Morris.
Yeah, I thought it was a
The
350,
pictures
but
are,
this looks
I
like a
couldn't
450.
zoom in. Doesn't say.
It's a 350, but it's a commercial 350.
Yeah, it's the Econoline.
It's a nice looking unit, honest to God. It looks like one of the small buses they use in the cities
Yeah.
when they don't need to run a big bus kind of thing.
Okay, so it's not just like a F-350 like minibus type van.
No, it's not. It's like a full-on,
Those is what I was looking at.
me too, yeah.
Okay, it's a Super Duty, F-350 Super Duty.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
That's a one-ton.
Okay.
Are there any other questions, comments? Do we have a possible motion?
Well, I was just looking at they did an Experian,
It's like a Carfax
a Carfax.
review, right?
Right. Did anybody do a Carfax on it? This is the equivalent to?
It is equivalent, and the score comes out at an 89, which is much higher than the average, which is 72 to 85 at the top. So it has a good score. It has the one little cosmetic incident. Let's see if I can find it on
It was fixed though.
Yeah, it was,
just,
yeah.
It just happened,
Yeah.
according to this.
It says here it has a likelihood of being on the road 5 years, so it's got a good.
Yeah, and I think
good
that's
likelihood of being on the road 5 years.
I think that's with a little bit more continual use than probably it would get.
Do we have anything in our fleet right now that would even compare to this that we need to deal with right now?
We don't, all we have
We
is that
don't.
minivan, the special ed
We don't
minivan.
own any of our busing.
Yeah, it's all ours.
Yeah.
But I mean, in our fleet at the
Yeah.
school here.
We got the minivan and the truck, tractor, that's all.
Who services those?
We just have to contract it out, take it somewhere, yeah. It was an impact, right side impact with a parked vehicle. Minor damage was the only
Up
accident on
front
there.
or in the
side.
cab, or the coach?
It doesn't say, right side, on the side, right side. It's on the very back page. We'll look at it up top of there.
Did you get that picture yet, Morris?
Yes, I did. Thank you. Looking at it now.
So there was a case on the damage, there was a case filed on it. So where's the
You
vehicle
said there's a
located?
warranty on it?
Yes, 3 years and 45,000 miles.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's 15,000 miles a year.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Where's the vehicle located now?
North Carolina, I believe is what he told me.
Do we have to pay a fee to get it out here?
It's
Yeah.
included in the price. Yeah. Yeah, this is delivered to us. They'll have it here.
Well, you kind of answered my questions on it.
Mr. Morgan, Ms. Hunt, any other questions or comments from you?
I'm good, thank you.
No, not for me.
All right.
I haven't, I have to be, I got all of this information relatively and looked over it, but I haven't had time to, to compare, make comparisons or anything like this. This seems like a fair deal. But like you said, the 49,000, I went, whoa, that's expensive. And so, but
When you think about what you're getting.
used vehicles are very difficult to get nowadays, and the prices on used vehicles is going through the roof because you can't get new ones. And so the fact that this is delivered and comes with a reasonable warranty, what's the silver package? Is there some sort of
It's on
silver
the, if
package?
you look on the back page, it talks about what all's covered in the silver. The back of the front page. Yeah, right there. It's basically the powertrain, your engine,
Yeah.
transmission through there. That's basically what that is.
What's the price difference between the silver and the gold?
That was not an option, I understand,
Okay.
because of the
They-
gold.
They do that sometimes.
Yeah.
So they'll only let you get
Older
a certain.
vehicles.
That might put us over 50,000, Scott.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So basically, the warranty is the silver package.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay.
All right. Would anyone like to make a motion at this time?
Let's see. I wish we could see it. That's the way I always, when I buy a car,
On
I've
the
got
kick tires.
I've got to see it and crawl all over it and all that kind of stuff. But that's just me. You know, if it's as represented, I'm okay.
I would move that we can purchase this vehicle for the school usage as stated in the previous discussions. And in lieu of using Harlow's for the other needs. So as long as we're supplanting other transportation needs with this bus.
Would this create any bad blood between Harlow's and us, do you think?
I don't think so, because Phil understands that, I mean, he can't get drivers sometimes, and he hasn't been able to fill all of our
This
needs.
is a vehicle
So-
and drivers.
Yeah, so,
But now,
Yeah,
mind you,
and-
it doesn't require a CDL.
right, so
That's the
if
reason.
we had a team of 25 kids, that's gotta be on a bus, because it requires a CDL and a bigger bus, obviously, and he would supply that need. But these are for some of the smaller trips. It doesn't make sense to have a full-size bus when you got 10 kids on a trip or something, you know?
And this is 16,
Uh,
has seating for 16?
16,
Plus the
or
driver?
including the driver, so 15 plus the driver.
Okay, 15. So,
Yeah, this is certainly different than was represented at their last meeting, because we didn't have a picture of this.
Right,
So when
right.
we're doing our information, and, you know, I gotta say, something that Morris brought up last time is that it's hard enough to make these decisions, but it'd be great if we had this information before the meetings.
Right, and we'll make sure we get
We'll
that
just
out
keep
to you.
working
Yeah.
towards that kind of stuff.
is it big enough?
That, if we go any larger, we get into having to have a CDL. Once you get over 16 passengers, you have to have a CDL by state law.
Okay,
So
So
how many,
it's really the perfect size, because it's 16 total in there.
so
but my question is more, is just because we're trying to avoid a CDL, is it possible, I mean, a CDL is not that involved to get, it's, you know, but what I'm saying is it large enough to meet our needs?
For what we want to do, yes. Okay,
So how many teams can this represent, basically? It can't take a football team, obviously.
no,
No,
That's,
But it could take volleyball. It could take both of the basketball teams. Not both of them together, but
a lot of times the boys have a game on there, or the girls have a game on. You
You
could use
do
this.
your wrestling. You could do your
Wrestling,
drama,
drama team, all
Drama,
their
okay.
events.
cross country.
Cross country, track, we don't have that many athletes sometimes. Girls softball, he has normally 12, he says.
Okay.
So, for the baseball team that we're forming with this and the minivan, we could take the whole team without having to get a bigger bus.
okay. Is there enough room for gear and all that sort of
There's a
stuff?
trunk area in the back, behind those back seats there, yeah.
I think it has some.
I do remember.
And there's
These
storage
buses-
over the seat. There's like bins for luggage and stuff.
Right, it's
Yeah.
used for airport
Right.
shuttle. That's
Exactly.
basically what it's for.
Right.
That's exactly what I was trying to describe.
Yeah,
Yeah, airport shuttle van.
yeah.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Okay.
Motion is approved. On to item 5. Discuss and possibly approve the initial excavation and grading of the proposed site for the baseball field. Mr. Thompson.
So I put together a little punch list that I sent out to you a few days ago, and it's entitled Garden Valley Schools Baseball Field Construction. I don't know, I hope you've had a chance to read those bullet points. That kind of lays out a general plan for the construction of the field. I am researching, there was some things done several years ago. Gary may remember some of this, and they looked at a couple of options for putting a ball field. One is out there where we are wanting to put it now, and I think another one was over here kind of off behind the softball field. But I'm trying to find the plans on that and see what, I know Morris had asked about getting the plans and all together for that. So that's kind of where we're at. We do have a quote in there for the $19,150 to do the initial excavation. It will get us on a slope that will still have drainage. It will drain to the existing ditch that's on the property, so we're not altering that. And it'll be enough of a slope consistent with specs for a high school baseball field. So while we're having this meeting, I wanted to bring this to the board. I mean, the contractor's available to start within the next week or so doing this if we want to approve it. I also put in there for your information a copy of the funds that we have raised. We're at $33,302, and the initial startup cost for things for the baseball team. That was just some information that I'm sharing with you, kind of where we're at there. We have been authorized by the state to use the $19,150 out of COVID funds to work towards the field if we want to. So that is an option.
At the last meeting, I believe I asked if you could get a plat and then place the dugouts and the baseball field onto that plat so that we know and we can look at it that way, know which way it's facing, know what we're approving. I also wanted to do some homework by doing my own research, going to speak to neighbors, speaking to Gary, having a look at the field. And since our last meeting, I haven't had the time to do that. But I do believe I asked for a plat with the baseball field on there. So we could look at sunrise, sunset, what times of the day we would possibly be playing, and things like that before we approve it. So that is why I asked for a plat, and I would still like to see a plat of that plot with the baseball field and the dugouts then drawn onto that plat.
Agreed. And I would also like to see a second bid on this one, for sure. I mean, this is more of this is a little bit different than buying a vehicle. Vehicles are kind of standardized, I'd like to see just at least one other bid on this, because to see where we are in that zone out there, and I know it's going to change our timing on this a little bit, but I think that we have the time to do this, and we want to do this right anyways, right?
Okay.
So if we could get that as well, I would love that.
Is the board, it may cost us a little money to have a plat drawn up. I'll have to research that. You're okay with?
You go to the county, and the county will give it to you.
To get
The
actual
plat.
To show, well, I'm talking, you wanted I'm sorry, I shouldn't say plat. You wanted a sketch showing the outline of the field, where it's at in relation to what direction it's facing for sunrise and sunset. So that's going to cost a little money to have someone draw that up.
I can do that.
Randy, I did that for my entire property.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
all the buildings on my property. You don't need an engineer to do it. Just, whoever's gonna place the field, this is the way the field is gonna go. These are the
I got
dugouts, you draw the dugouts in there.
Right,
Um,
just use a scale.